everyone. This is on? It's on, yeah. Hi, I'm Rob Stupay. I work at Remix. I've been giving some Remix lectures now and again, and often online. And when you give them the lecture online, you see the screen, and you don't see the audience. And hey, Paul. And no one asks any questions because it's online. And so I rattle on and on and on. So, you know, stop me. I got 15 minutes, which I guess starts now. Anyway, let's begin. So I divided these Remix features into 3 qualities for beginners, intermediates, and kind of project leaders. You know, it's like Remix is often used by beginners because it's the easiest place to start. Intermediate devs use Remix for lots of reasons, and advanced devs often are just, maybe not advanced devs, but just project managers need to keep track of what's going on, and there are some good tools in Remix for that. There's also like features in Remix that I think everyone should be looking at or know about, and when talking to devs, we find out they don't. So like, first of all, just so we have this speaking the same language, you know, that's the main panel, there's the side panel, and the icon panel. Everyone knows that, right? Yeah. Good. Also, if you're getting bored, I can speed up faster, so let me know. So did you know you could find the docs inside of every plugin? You just dial down that, it's not a pointer, but it's a clicker. You dial down that little caret at the top right, and then of the side panel, and then you get a link to the docs. And then we moved the, to start it, we put the Workspace tools inside the hamburger icon at the top of every side panel plugin. So to get to the Workspace tools, you click the hamburger, and you get this big menu. And 2 ones that are everyone should know about at the top are how to clone a repo. Has everyone cloned a repo in Remix? At least some of you have. It's kind of new, and it's wonderful. Also, creating workspaces is important because you get all these templates. And these are going to be ever-increasing number of templates. And the Open Zeppelin templates, you can choose different features of these ERC20 or 721 or 1155 templates. And you can also initialize every template for Git. And Git's important because you have to know where files are getting saved in Remix. We often get people saying, I don't know where my files went. And that's because it's not being backed up on a server, it's in local storage. Everyone knows that? Good. And that's a workspace with a little Git icon because it's been Git initialized. And does everyone know about Remix D? Oh, good, so I'm gonna whip through this. This is how to connect Remix to your hard drive. And it's a NPM script, you run it, and then you run this command, remixd, and then it connects it. And then, oh, it's much better over here. What happened? Okay, oh, no, went away. It's over, oh, okay, good. So then when you're working with Git, you can manage your branches in the File Explorer at the bottom. You click that, and all the branches come up. And then you launch the dgit plugin, and you get all the Git operations, and it's just like if you're doing that in VS Code, it's the same kind of interface. And there's even, you got to put in your GitHub settings, and then you can see the changes. If you can check the diff inside Remix. So go do that. Also now there's 4 ways to compile a file. You know, so whichever one you want to do. You can either go to the Solidity compiler, you can do Control-S that will launch the compilation. You can right-click in the File Explorer, and you can hit the play button. You know, you can also use the play button for running scripts in Remix, TypeScript or JavaScript scripts. And the right-click menu, there's all these choices here. I don't know if everyone's seen all these choices, but you should look at them. That's how you flatten. And you can generate UML and generate documents. We'll go into UML a little bit later. And then we can fork in Remix. You can fork mainnet, anynet, and you can put even in the custom fork. Oh, I guess I'm going to go into that later. But forking is possible. And more. Everyone knows how to verify in Remix? Oh, very important. So either you can verify with Sourceify. You know about Sourceify, everybody? Okay, there's a Sourceify plugin. There's an Etherscan plugin. These are the names of the plugin: contract verification, Sourceify, contract verification, Etherscan. And you can also just do nothing and publish your source code. But I'll show you how to do that in a sec. This is what the Sourceify plugin looks like. You click the verifier, and then that opens up, and then you put in your contract and you verify it. Etherscan is you have to put the Etherscan API key in first. Sourceify doesn't need an API key. And then you can verify it. But you can also verify the proxy contracts associated with a UUPS implementation of a proxy. So once you click that, there'll be a little bit more UI. But also here in deploy and run, if you click that publish to IPFS button and you have like a Infura account, then you'll publish to your source code to IPFS, and then Sourceify has this monitoring service, and it will just verify your contracts. So you don't really need to do anything. You don't need to go to any plugin. You just publish your data along with your deployments, and Sourceify will run around and get all your verification done for you. And has everyone used @address here? Good. But somehow I feel it's not being used enough. So you just need to have your metadata, the metadata, the ABI, sorry, and in Remix, or the compiled contract, and you can use @address, and then you can interact with the deployed contract. Am I going too fast for anyone? I am? Okay, okay. Tutorials, has everyone tried Learneth tutorials in Remix? Good. Well, good for the people who have, anyway. So when you launch, you go to the plugin manager or click on one of those links on the home page, and there's all these tutorials in here. And there's step-by-step tutorials. There's also Solidity unit tests. So like this is the Solidity beginner course. There's the answers. They'll check your answer with a Solidity unit test, and you can see the answer. And they're based on Solidity by Example, that website. So you can go over here, read how we describe it, then go to their site and see how he describes it. And then also we've translated the tutorials into Spanish and to simplified Chinese. And also Remix itself can be seen in Chinese. We're going to be expanding the UI into Spanish and a number of other languages too. So that's on the bottom of the settings panel, is where you switch a language. And then you can see Remix in Chinese. And then the docs, similarly, a little hard to find, but if you go to that thing at the bottom of the docs, read the docs, well, the language choice will come up. And now another subject is autocompletes on imports. So when you're importing a file and you start typing then it'll autocomplete Open Zeppelin library or Uniswap or any of your local files. And has anyone had trouble importing with Remix? So you really should just be, if you use the import, it'll grab, you don't need to have the long string, you can just put the import, any Open Zeppelin contract or any contract that's in NPM, and it will go out and grab it and bring it into Remix. So it should be pretty seamless. You can also import via the entire, HTTPS URL, but it's often quite easy just to do the import statement and grab it from npm. And also here's a kind of little trick for grabbing a URL in Etherscan. You just take the Etherscan URL of a verified contract, and then you switch out Etherscan for Remix, and then it pops it up in the Remix editor. So it's a little quick switcheroo. And has everyone tried console log in Remix? Good. There's an example of it in one of the default programs in the default template. So for intermediate devs, got about 10 minutes, 5 minutes left? 3? Okay. Intermediate devs, compile and run is a way to, you set the state with a compilation, with a script, and then you hit the script, you hit the compile, and then it'll run the script, so it'll set the state of your contract, which is nice, so you can code and then set the state and go to the problem and then rerun it again. And just run it when you want. There's a transaction recorder for in the deploy and run for getting all the transactions, and you can save your transactions and give this. It makes a JSON file, and then you can give this file to somebody, and then they can run your transactions in their remix, and so you can kind of share and coordinate problems. It's good for. It's a good teaching tool. And now there's gas estimates inline in Remix. I didn't know if everyone knew that. Did you know that? Good, 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 good. And scientific notation in Remix in function inputs? That's no. And also, you can run free functions. Actually, have you all tried right-clicking in the editor recently? Because we've updated it, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. So, you know, you can go to definitions and references, but you can also run a free function. And but you can also format a code there, and you can set the formatting in the prettier config file in the file explorer. And also you can, we've updated the UI for proxy contracts using the UUPS pattern. So when you have one, it'll make 2 deployments, one right after the other. And if you're just deploying to the Remix VM, it just kind of does one right the other. If you're deploying with, you know, injected Web3 MetaMask or something, you're going to go, you'll have to do 2 approvals, which is these 2 approvals. And then you interact with the proxy, not with the implementation contract. And you can, have anyone tried to grab a hard hat or Foundry compilation result and deploy in Remix? You can. You can, if you, it'll grab the, well, this is compilation, and for, you can compile and remix, and then it's visible in hard hat. And here's the compiled by Remix or compiled by hard hat or Foundry, whatever. It'll grab it in the deploy and run. And we've updated the static analysis so that you can do the linting and slither. Slither is interesting because as soon as you run remixd, it'll install slither. Then you can do all your slither analysis inside the Solidity analyzers. I think I'm going to just skip ahead here because it's important to know your code liability, your liability as developers. And it's maybe, I've heard with Mika that devs are going to start becoming liable. So it's important to be able to maybe give your clients the code in Remix to deploy. So they're going to be deploying with their wallet, not with your wallet. And then you've reduced your liability dramatically. So Remix can be a good tool to work with the new regulations coming in the EU. And then you just give them a gist, the client's a gist or something like that, and then you get this long string, and but with the just equals with the Remix URL, we'll load the gist into Remix. Also, here's an interesting page of Remix URLs. So you can config Remix via the URL for yourself, your students, your coworkers, to load different things to load different plugins, to load different files. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob, and thank you very much, everybody. I'm sorry, but we don't have time for a question. Time flies, and we have a schedule to follow, so sorry. To ask you a question directly to Rob, yeah.